Hi there, my name is Hillary Walsh and I'm an immigration lawyer in Phoenix, Arizona. New Frontier Immigration Law is my law firm, and I'm talking today to anyone who wants to know about asylum in the United States of America. So, asylum in the United States has been around for a really long time, and it's available for people who have fled their home country because of persecution that is on account of a protected ground, and that their government is unwilling or unable to protect them or prevent this harm in the future, and that this harm is throughout the entire country. So when we think about civil wars being waged against people, we see that same type of thing. I mean, it's happened over the course of history, and it really gave rise to the need for asylum. We look back on the world wars, specifically the Holocaust, and we see a really prime example of people who fled because they were being persecuted on account of their religion and their national origin. That no matter where they went, the government was either the persecutor. We see people who have fled for their life, and they've gone to great lengths to be safe. And this isn't a thing of the past. I think that it's really remarkable how the Holocaust is still the most recent thing that we think of, but the genocide in Rwanda is something that shook the entire globe when we saw the Tutsis and the Hutus, waging a war on the Tutsis. So I think it's so important to recognize that persecution can happen for a lot of different reasons, and that's recognized within our asylum laws. So just because you've heard in the past that you can't get asylum for a certain reason. I know a lot of clients from Central America have been told, in Mexico, have been told, if the gangs are persecuting you, you can't get asylum in the United States. And there's a lot of case law in different areas that support that. It's true. But there's also cases that say the other side of that, which is when you have opposed the gangs, when you have reported them, when you've testified against them in court, or when they simply believe that you're going to be one of those people, you can get asylum in the United States. Withholding of removal and convention against torture, you don't have to show that the persecution or torture that you've endured or will endure if you're returned to your home country, you don't have to show that the torture is going to be on account of anything. It can be for any reason. Okay? So don't be your own judge and your own juror. Don't try your own case. What's important is for you to talk to an attorney who's experienced in asylum law, who's willing to be creative and to help you protect your life and your children's life and possibly your spouse's life, depending on what your situation is. Recognize that it's difficult to get asylum in the United States, but it's not impossible. And the difficulty shouldn't prevent you from trying, because it is so important that each person tries if they truly have a fear of being harmed in their home country. That's the whole reason that the system was set up. After you've applied for asylum, if you're not detained, or if you are released after you've applied for asylum, about 170 days, 160 days after that, we submit for work authorization, because you're not eligible to work lawfully in the United States until you've been here and submitted your asylum application for 180 days. I think it's really important that people know that. I mean, when I told my husband, for example, you can't get a work card, you have to basically live in the United States and find ways to survive here without legally working, it really puts people in a position of, what are we expecting people to do for work and to survive, and so they don't have to live off of the government. So it is difficult, and I just really extend my heart to people who have decided, this bad thing is happening to me, this horrific thing is happening to me, and if I stay here, it will happen to my children. And instead of staying and enduring it and just being resigned to the fact that I will have to be a gang member, or I will have to refuse to stand up for my political opinion, in a communist country, I refuse to say that I am not attracted to my same gender, or that the body that I was born into doesn't match what my soul says it is. If you are a person who refuses to exist in that society because it's dangerous for you to live there, and because you don't want to live trapped in oppression, you have come to this country. I want you to have an advocate who fights for you, who refuses to give up for you, who is worthy of the bravery that you have put yourself through in order to get to this country's border. My law firm is in Arizona, but we help asylum seekers all over the United States. I have clients in Miami. I have clients all the way up in San Francisco and everywhere in between. I want to help you because you are worthy of a really good advocate. You can call my law firm. We're New Frontier Immigration Law, and we want to help you. Do you want our help?